Through measured steps and moments well spent. Through measured steps and moments well spent. Hajj teaches time's value, a blessed ascent. Hajj teaches time's value, a blessed ascent.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Noorallah. Welcome to a new series, Life After Hajj. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, there are millions of Muslim men and women who have been blessed to perform Hajj either in the previous years or this year. Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam and a very important act of worship. In order to perform this obligatory act, every year, millions of Muslims wear simple and similar attire irrespective of their color and race, and gather on the blessed land of Haram. The world is astonished to see this amazing example of unity. The beloved and blessed Prophet ﷺ has stated that the one who performed Hajj and did not commit rafas, meaning indecent talk and transgression, returns free of sins as he was on the day when his mother gave birth to him. A Haji is such a fortunate person that Allah forgives all his sins. Once, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the sins are forgiven, then upon the return, a Haji should lead a life where he refrains from sins. Ala Hazrat, Imam of Ahl Sunnah, Maulana Shah Imam Ahmad Raza Khan Rahmatullahi Ta'ala has said, the sign of a Hajj Mabrur, an accepted Hajj, is that the Haji becomes better than before when he returns. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, in this series, we will talk about what important lessons one learns from Hajj and steps a Haji, or in general, any person can take to live a life where he can let go of all the sinful activities and refrain from sins. Today, Insha'Allah al-Kareem, we're going to talk about time management and how we learn time management from Hajj. Before we proceed any further, let's listen to the blessings of reciting durood upon the beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The final Prophet of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated that whoever reads 1,000 durood upon me daily, he will not die until he sees his place in Jannah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. There was a kingdom with a strict rule that every king will serve for 5 years only. After serving for 5 years, the king was required to go to the jungle to spend the rest of his life. But the strange thing was that the jungle was full of dangerous animals and nothing was available to live a good life, so there won't be any chance to come back alive out of the jungle. Many kings came to serve in that kingdom and followed the rule as prescribed. None of them survived after being put in the jungle. There came a time where nobody wanted the kingship. The people decided that the first person who will enter the doors of the kingdom will be their next king. Now, everyone started looking at the doors to find out who enters first. A little while later, a person enters, so the people got hold of him and told him that he is the king according to their rule, and after 5 years, he has to go to the jungle. The person denied to become their next king after knowing the rule, but somehow they convinced him and he agreed to become the next king. On the first day of his kingship, he asked the people to let him visit at that place where every king had gone after their service. He found that this place was full of trees and dangerous animals. There was no facilities for survival. After the inspection, he came back to the kingdom. Now, he started to plan for making the jungle a peaceful place where survival is possible. In the first year, he started with the planning and executing cutting some trees and to make proper path to go inside the jungle. In the second year, he started with the plan to shift dangerous animals to the safest place away from that area. Further, in the third year onward, he ordered to dig wells, started farming and making some small houses around. Then he asked some people to move into those houses. Finally, the forest was enough to live a peaceful life without any problems. Now, as per the rules, after 5 years, the king had to go to the jungle. But after 5 years, he was able to survive in the jungle, which was now a city to live in. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, besides the obvious fact that the king was very wise and intelligent, there's one more lesson to learn from the story. The lesson is the best utilization of time and resources. In those 5 years, the king utilized the time properly with the best strategy. In this way, he followed all the rules, and in time, he managed to create a way to spend a better life. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, time is a significant bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is distributed equally across all, rich or poor, king or minister, employee or employer. Everyone gets 24 hours in a day. No one can say that the employer gets 26 hours and the employee gets only 24 hours. Time is such a bounty that is distributed equally amongst everyone. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, if you look around, everything around us is wrapped around time. The universe with its remarkable system is truly awe-inspiring. Despite its complexity, every mechanism in nature is linked to time, whether it is the cycle of the moon, or rising and setting of the sun, the coming and going of the night, or the beginning and end of the day. It all points to the existence of one Lord and highlights the significance of organizing time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran, لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. Translation from Kanzul Iman, it is not befitting for the sun to overtake the moon during the night, nor does the night surpass the day, and each of them is floating in orbit. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, time is divided in many different ways. Sometimes we express time in the form of hours and days. Sometimes we call it day and night, and sometimes morning and evening. At times we refer to it as the past, present, and future, and other times we use the words like today and yesterday or tomorrow. The subject of time has been addressed in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ اللَّيْلُ وَالنَّهَارُ وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. Translation from Kanzul Iman, and amongst his signs are the night and the day and the sun and the moon. Time is like a fertile land. Just like in a fertile land, whatever you sow, you will reap the same fruit after a certain passing of time. Actions we do is like planting a seed, and after a certain time, we will reap the fruits of it. Sometimes people reap the fruit immediately, and sometimes a little later in life. And for sure, there will be fruits, meaning good or bad, in the hereafter. There is a riwayat that if someone is kind to old people, when he gets old, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will appoint people who are kind to him. There are two good news for that person. One, that he will reach old age, and second, people around him will be kind to him. The seed that you planted yielded a fruit. This also tells us that when we utilize time in good deeds, we'll get good fruit of our labor. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, when you look at the clock, you'll notice that the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand, they're always moving forward. None of them moves backward. This is another warning that our time is continuously going forward. We cannot make up for the lost time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Translation from Kanzul Iman, by the oath of that heir of beloved Prophet Muhammad, indeed, mankind is surely in loss, except those who believed and did good deeds, and advised one another towards the truth, and advised one another to have patience. The loss of mankind is that life, which is their most valuable asset, is continuously deteriorating. Therefore, they should use their time for virtuous act and for the benefits of others. One of the righteous servants of Allah Almighty said, I understood the meaning of Surah Al-Asr from a vendor selling ice on the market. He would announce, have mercy on the one whose asset, meaning the ice, is melting away. Hearing his cries, I remarked, this is the meaning of indeed, mankind is surely in loss. The life given to us is passing by quickly like the melting ice. If it is wasted on misdeeds, then you will only reap loss. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, we all understand the importance of time, but we are a master of wasting time with only hope that I have enough time left. Every breath and moment of life is a valuable pearl. However, most people are unaware of how to use it correctly and effectively. The final prophet of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, has said, نِعْمَتَانِ مَبْغُونٌ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ الصِّحَّةُ وَالْفَرَاغُ. Meaning, there are two bounties regarding which many people are misled: health and free time. The final Prophet of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, mentioned two blessings which people typically overlook. They do not recognize their true value and fail to take advantage of them for a better life in the hereafter. There are many healthy people who have time for virtuous deeds but fall prey to laziness and forego these precious opportunities, vindicating themselves with excuses. I will do it later. I'm young. I have time. I have my whole life ahead of me. These are the things to do when we reach old age. Like this, they prolong their hopes and fall into the traps of laziness and procrastination, wasting their precious time and days of health. Someone asked a Hakim to prescribe something to make him fall asleep during the day. The Hakim replied, "You are extremely foolish. You already spend half of your life sleeping. Whereas sleep is another name of death, and now you wish to spend 3/4 of your life sleeping and only 1/4 of life living?" The man asked, "How is that?" The Hakim explained, "For example, if you're 40 years of age, you'll be awake for 20 years, and now you wish to reduce it to 10. In other words, if he sleeps during the day too, another 10 years will be reduced, leaving him with only 10 years to prepare for the hereafter." My dear viewers of Madani Channel, looking at this example, if one sleeps on average 8 hours a day, 1/3 of his life is already lost in sleeping. That leaves us with only 2/3 of our life. How can we utilize it for a better hereafter? There's a saying that time is money. I didn't understand it before, but I understood the literal meaning of it when I came to US and landed my first job. Back in that time, it was $7 was paid per hour, or $8. The more I worked, the more money I made. This is an everyday example which everyone can relate to. Let's say there are two friends, Zayd and Bakr. They both started at a company at the same entry-level position. They both started getting $15 per hour for working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. 3 years into the employment, Zayd was promoted to be a manager and started making $40 an hour, whereas Bakr was making $20 an hour. They both started at the same position, but now one of them is a manager, one is not. Although both of them got raises, Bakr went up to $20 an hour from $15. On the other hand, Zayd is making $40 an hour, double of what Bakr makes. It is easily understandable that the person who became a manager worked harder in the same 8 hours. Besides working hard, there's one more thing that changed if you noticed. Zayd is worth more than Bakr for the same time spent in the company. Now, if you take the same concept from this world towards Akhirat, it tells us why the muttaqeen, meaning the pious people, are worth more than the other people. They will be rewarded more in the hereafter. Why? Because they have utilized the same time towards more ibadat, more worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, we will be judged in the hereafter based on how we spent our time in this world. How we choose to live our life in this temporary world determines how we spend eternity in the hereafter. A significant sign of good fortune is to manage your time correctly and use it with sincerity. By the bounty and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with the value of time, Sayyidina Nu'man bin Sabit rahmatullahi ta'ala became the greatest Imam al-Azam. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani emerged as a great helper, Ghaus al-Azam. Ali ibn Uthman al-Hajwari rahmatullahi ta'ala became he who gives generously, meaning Dada Ganjbakhsh, and Muinuddin Chishti became the comfort of the poor, meaning Gharib Nawaz rahmatullahi ta'ala. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, every day and night that passes is a constant reminder that we will not be able to make up for the time that is gone. The passing of time consists of two things, the day and night. Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam has said, "The day and night are treasures. Think carefully how you utilize them." My dear viewers of Madani Channel, this day and age, everyone searches the internet. If you search the internet, you will see hundreds of books written on time management, each author providing their own experience on how to manage time effectively. However, my advice to you is that if you really want to learn how to manage time effectively and efficiently, read the seerah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, we cannot stop time from moving forward. We cannot go back in time. The only thing we can do is to manage our time properly. Time management is a strategy of planning out your available time and controlling the amount of time you spend on specific tasks to work more efficiently. Better time management means a better work-life balance. Effective time management comes easier to some people than others, but everyone can develop a habit to improve their time management skills. Without proper time management, your work and well-being can suffer. It can lead to producing poor quality work, missing deadlines, increasing stress levels, ruining your work-life balance, harming your professional reputation. The question is, how can we manage time effectively and efficiently? This is one of the skills that we need to have. There are many things that happen in the life of a Muslim that teaches time management. Hajj is one of the best examples. Hajj teaches a person time management. For example, on 8th of Zulhijjah, a person who intends to do Hajj must leave for Mina, and you have to offer 5 Salah, Zuhr of the 8th Zulhijjah to the Fajr of 9th Zulhijjah in Mina. On the 9th after Fajr, a person who intends to do Hajj must go to Arafat. After sunsets in Arafat, a Haji must go to Muzdalifah and read Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. During the night in Muzdalifah, he must collect stones for Ramiyah Jamarat. On the 10th after Fajr in Muzdalifah, a Haji on return to Mina should do Ramiyah Jamarat. After hurling grits at the big Satan on 10th Zulhijjah, a Haji must perform Qurbani. It is only after Qurbani he can do Halq or Taqseer. After Halq or Taqseer, then he goes for Tawaf Ziyarah. All these activities are managed within a time and must be done within that time frame for a person to become a Haji. What is this all teaching us? This is teaching us time management. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, the question becomes, what do we need to do to manage our time effectively and efficiently? First and foremost, the thing is that we need to have a firm decision and intention in mind that I need to utilize my time wisely. Instead of regretting the time you've wasted in the past, seize the time you have now. You may want to make up for the lost time but feel that your current engagements and commitments do not allow that. So you start making excuses like, if my circumstances change, I will definitely do what I should have done a long time ago. Well, instead of surrendering to such excuses, try these following tips. The first thing is, make a list of all the things that waste your time. I'm pretty sure on top of it, you will find that we waste a lot of time on social media on watching irrelevant reels and videos. Ask yourself, is it really necessary? If not, get rid of it. Watching irrelevant videos is most probably number one reason for wasting time. Unfortunately, people are in bed scrolling over the reels before falling asleep. Wasting time causes loss in this world and the hereafter. Even after entering paradise, the person will regret the time he misspent in his worldly life. The final prophet of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has said, لَيْسَ يَتَحَسَّرُ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عَلَى سَاعَةٍ مَرَّتْ بِهِمْ لَمْ يَذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ فِيهَا. Meaning, the dwellers of paradise will not regret anything except the moments that pass by without Allah's remembrance. The regrets associated with wasting time were discussed by the eminent companion Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who said, I regret nothing more than a day that ends and my lifespan decreases, yet my deeds have not increased. In relation to time, these esteemed individuals did not favor those who would misuse it. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, I despise the free yet useless individual whom I see not engaged in any worldly or religious work. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, pioneers who contribute in the society share this trait. And what is the trait? The trait is that they value time. The time we receive in this life is an irreplaceable blessing. A pious man stated, do what must be done, otherwise you will fall into that which should not be done. Now, once you make the list, you'll be surprised how much time you have. Then the question is going to be, what am I going to do with all this time? Now, the second part is, list all your unfinished tasks. Make a fresh start from here and do not let any unfinished tasks accumulate in the future. Plan in accordance with your life goals. Make a separate list for daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly tasks. Periodically review these lists, amend them, and adjust them when needed. The next part is, prioritize your task. Carry out the most important tasks in your best time, in other words, your prime time. This is usually the early morning, and the beloved Prophet of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has said, O Allah, grant my ummah blessings in their mornings. By extension, this means, grant my ummah blessings in all religious and worldly tasks that they carry out in the morning. For example, traveling, seeking knowledge, trading, working, etc. Try to carry out work in accordance with your skills and expertise, but do not become obsessed with completing it and making it perfect. There's an Arabic saying that says, the effort is from us, but success is from Allah. It is true that the knots of destiny are not open with the nails of planning, but you must plan and then leave destiny to Allah Almighty, who is the creator of both destiny and planning. Stay away from things that you have no knowledge of. For example, will such and such thing happen tomorrow or not? How will this happen? Likewise, avoid perhaps if, etc., as this achieves nothing except wasting time and distressing the heart. It is possible that tomorrow will bring such a situation that you had not even thought of, and nothing of the plan you were making and the matters you were pondering over come to pass. Therefore, hand over these matters of the future to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next thing is punctuality. Punctuality is key. Some people have excellent performance, but they continuously turn up late to work and appointments. Remember that if people affected by this shortcoming do not rectify their ways, many companies do not hesitate in letting them go. If you have given someone time that you will meet them at 10, then meet them at 10. If you don't, you have wasted your time and the time of the other person too. Sometimes we think we are a big shot and it is okay to make other people wait. Remember, successful people always value their time and other people's time. The significance of being on time when going to the office, shop, college, university, meeting is like that the spine in a human body. It is apparent that if the backbone is weak or if the vertebrae moves from its place, it will affect the entire body. If you are 10 minutes late, that means everyone that is affected by your 10 minutes has now wasted 10 minutes of their life. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, these are some key points that we can use to manage our time wisely and efficiently and effectively. However, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, with all this time management, don't forget your akhirat. When we talk about priority, prioritize your akhirat over your dunya. If we don't prioritize our akhirat, we'll be at a huge loss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated in the Holy Quran, Surah Shura, verse number 20, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِهِ وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الدُّنْيَا نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ نَصِيبٍ. Translation from Kanzul Iman: whosoever desires the harvest of the hereafter, we increase his harvest for him, and whosoever desires the harvest of this world, we give him some of it, and he has no share in the hereafter. This ayah is telling us that those who are going to work for this dunya and they're not going to think about their akhirat, despite working too hard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we give some of it. A person may have the best time management skills. He may be punctual. He may have prioritized his task. However, if he did not prioritize his akhirat over his dunya, there's an everlasting effect. And what is the effect which is everlasting and forever? The effect is that he has no share in the hereafter. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, sooner or later, no matter how skilled we are, how successful we are, we all have to go. Name a successful businessman who's been living for 120 years. We can't. Why? Because their life ended. Majority don't even remember their names. Name the 4 A'imma Ikram. Everyone remembers their name. Why? Because they prioritize their akhirat over this dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to prioritize our time wisely, efficiently, and effectively, and prioritize our akhirat over this dunya. Ameen. Bijahin Nabil Ameen. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Through measured steps and moments well spent, through measured steps and moments well spent, Hajj teaches time's value, a blessed ascent. Hajj teaches time's value, a blessed ascent.